Hello and welcome to the theElpyDimension. I'm your guide, Elpy. So, we've had a work in progress here with my in-ground flower bed that I just created in the last couple of weeks. These are my empty flower pots, and then I've got some extra plants that, these are classic magic bachelor's button. They didn't make it in the ground today, or neither did my purple coneflower, and these are the leftover Corylus azafran safflower, and then a leftover Orient number 2 coxcomb. And I'm probably not going to be able to plant as many flowers as I have grown, but in part because I have a lot of wild daffodils. I say wild because I didn't plant them, nor did I plant the daylilies, and I dug up all the daylilies that were in here, but I decided to go ahead and plant some of them back. So right to there, these are the daffodils, and then I've got a daylily where you see that starting to rain. I hope it's going to rain for real, then I don't need to do the watering that I just planned on doing. That stick denotes where I've planted 2 rows of sunflowers all across the back there, and you see I don't have that much room. This is a strawberry fields gomphrena. Then we have pink Sunday salvia. Both of those, that one and that one that's laying down, are the Corylus azafran safflower. Then up here, the red ones are red raven coxcomb. These are Orient number 2 coxcomb. These guys are a lot more red than, if you look down here, these guys are the same. So I tried to mirror the sides, but somehow I wound up with a whole lot more room over here than over there on that side. I mean, it's gonna drive me nuts, but we'll deal with it. So this guy and this guy and this guy are daylilies, and then again we've got the daffodils and daylilies. Now they might, I don't remember for sure if some of these daylilies are going to wind up being different. My hope is that they are. So then we've got 2 more of the pink Sunday salvia, and I'm just now having that moment where I'm like, remember, you didn't need to plant every one of the flowers that grew, because you have a lot more flowers to. Anywho, that's a northern light zinnia. Next to it, that little guy right there is a silver aster, northern light zinnia, silver aster, northern light zinnia, and then we've got the daylily with the azafran safflower behind it. I know they're packed in pretty tight. This is a dahlia. It's dahlia dahlia. My mom got me that, so she's all by herself. There's nothing yet. My plan is going to be I'm going to put marigolds, and then 2 more. Those are strawberry fields gomphrena, the pink Sunday salvia, and I said that's northern light zinnia, azafran safflower, daylilies, and then we have again the red raven Orient number 2, red raven Orient number 2, strawberry fields gomphrena, salvia, and Corylus. Now that doesn't leave me very much room for. I still wanted to put bachelor's button, poppies, a lot more zinnia. Oh man, because I've got Benary's giants, California giants, and I think I grew even more of the. So I think I could have shrunk everybody in a little bit more, or maybe not given as much room for the sunflowers, or maybe just measured things out in that little. Anyways, so I said poppies, the bachelor's button, coneflowers, several more types of zinnias. Oh, and then maybe some other celosias. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm so the rain has stopped. I'm so excited because even though the daffodils are done flowering for the year, I had to kind of double up my bricks there. So like these bricks, you see, are one solid piece. And over here, these are basically scrap bricks that I got on clearance. So they were way cheaper than they normally would have been. And I didn't know what I was going to use them for. But you see, I got paver stones because these are essentially the caps to these would be like a paver, like a retaining wall. And then you'd have the caps, which are more narrow than these, big bricks. So I didn't have enough of the big bricks to go all the way around, but I got all these pavers. So I was like, I know I'll kind of bury the pavers and put the caps on top and make those for the sides. And then I thought that'd be a good idea to have the daffodils and daylilies because that greenery will, in theory, help kind of cover that up. So yeah, it's gonna be good. And the daylilies and the daffodils are perennials. They said the salvia, it said they were annuals, but I know there's also salvia, which is in the sage, same family as sage, that will grow perennially. So we'll see. Point being that I'll have perennials, like the coneflower will be perennial, and the annuals, whoever doesn't work out, then bachelor's button will be perennial. Then that's cool. That'll give me wiggle room. One thing that I do is I can be a little OCD, a little obsessive about things. So in the past, I've had a hard time making decisions about where things actually get planted because I feel like I need to figure out exactly the most perfect place. I got to get it absolutely right. That's why I'm trying not to be bothered by the imperfections here. Like this corner is way more tight. There's a lot more room over in that corner than there is in this corner. I'm like, you know what, whatever. Like, let's just get these in ground. Let's get them growing. These guys it's been a while. I mean, since I even potted them up. So kind of note to self that maybe I started things a little bit early. Yeah, some of these red ravens, I don't know if you can see that, but they're starting to flower. And the azafran safflower are budding as well. They have been. Now my concern for them is that there have been some creatures that have already showed interest in the safflower. So if they get eaten, that's going to be a super bummer. Maybe these extra ones I'll put in pots somewhere where they're not as exposed, and we'll just move on because God knows I got plenty of other flowers. But and I know they're a lot tighter than maybe they should be, but that's the thing. I'm like, you know what, stop being afraid, stop hesitating so much, and just get them planted. Because what's the worst? Look at that, those buds look like they're gonna be the first to go. That is the Corylus azafran safflower. But yeah, stop being afraid and just go. You know, what's the worst that can happen? Like, it looks uneven. They don't all flower. You got to plant more flowers. It's not as dense as you're hoping. I mean, this is the first year. Like, come on, man. Give yourself some credit for taking this on and finally getting it done. I've been saying for years that I was going to do this. And I'm like, I bet my neighbors are like, yeah. Talking about that, what was she talking about, that flower bed again? But here I am. I'm not just talking about it, I did it, and that's what counts. The one other thing that I'm concerned about is all my beds are raised. I grow in raised beds because there's a question about this soil. So until I get my results analyzed by someone who knows more than I do, none of this is going to be consumed by me. Some of these, like they say that you can make tea out of the coxcomb flowers, the celosia flowers, and you can make tea out of the safflower and possibly even use the greens. But I'm not going to until I know about my soil. But that being said, that's why I'm going to plant some elsewhere. That being said, this, as I dug into it, so my point in saying that all my other beds are raised beds is that I'm used to dealing in my raised beds, for which I had soil brought in that's a really sandy soil. It was like a third sand, a third leaf mold, and a third topsoil. And this stuff is really, really dense. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it that it looks really compact. I mean, I cleared this out a long time ago. Over a month ago. Pulled a lot of the weeds out and the poison ivy, and I've really been surprised by how little has grown relative to, this is the rest of my wild yard that is still insane right now. A lot of that pile is poison ivy, so that's going to go in the trash, and that is going to go in the compost. Not my compost, but the city collects yard waste. But this stuff is super compact. When I was digging, I actually bent my trowel. And I mean, it's, not a big trowel, so it's not a surprise that it can bend, but at the same time, that's how compact and like clay. It's a very clay soil. Now, the reason, if you don't know, that this could be a problem is because there are a lot of flowers and plants that they say prefer well-draining soil, and this might not be well-draining soil. But again, what's the worst that could happen? Things don't grow well. I've noticed this morning that in the morning they do get a nice chunk of shade in the morning, so that's kind of like, okay, some of these plants might find themselves reaching, but we'll see how this works. This is the first year, and we'll see what happens after this. But I did start some sunflowers inside, and I totally forgot about them, so we'll probably plant a few in my garden beds. I don't know, I got a lot of stuff I planted this year, a lot more than usual, but I dropped teddy bear sunflower, mammoth gray, something queen, and a little bit of autumn beauty. I say a little bit because I used the last of those seeds. So I dropped 4 different types of sunflowers in that row. Hopefully they don't get eaten coming up, but we'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited. I'm super excited. It's raining again, but I don't know if I should solely trust in the rain, because a lot of these guys could really like some more water. Look how close those are. I mean, it's in ground though, right? Like, you know what though? Despite how compact and dense clay like this soil was, there were a lot of worms. So that's awesome. All right. Thank you so much for your time and your interest. Stay tuned if you enjoyed this. I'd so appreciate if you could hit the thumbs up, and if you'd like to follow along with this journey, this adventure, and see how this flower garden turns out and what else I wind up planting in this tiny little bit of space that I have, like this chunk here, and then in between there I don't have that much room left. I mean, on the one hand, that's good, except that I planted more zinnias, a lot more, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have enough for my flower bed. Okay. Thank you so much for your time and your interest. Be safe. Be well. Bye for now.